I'm here at Turning Stone Resort and Casino, where first responders just cleared out after responding to a construction incident that occurred earlier today. Today, a bunch of West Berlin second graders took a field trip to a central New York dairy farm, and they didn't even have to take a bus. Instead, they got to experience it from the warmth of their classroom. National Grid covers utilities for most of upstate New York, and many users are seeing an increase in energy bills as temperatures continue to plummet. I spoke with a National Grid representative to learn more. Today, Senator Griffo announced over 1,000 gently used cell phones have been collected for veterans in need. He also took time to thank the organization that made this all possible.
Earlier today, 4 of the former correctional officers at Marcy Correctional Facility were sentenced by Judge Robert Bauer after they pled guilty for their roles in the death of Robert Brooks. Eyewitness News reporter Louis Genovese was at the courthouse today and explains how it all went down.
Judge Robert Bauer sentenced 4 former correctional officers for their role in the death of inmate Robert Brooks, during which he addressed details made in each of the defendants' character letters, as well as from victim impact statements provided by Brooks's loved ones.
There's individuals responsible for what they did. I couldn't help but notice as you stood there, while this unfolded.
One by one, Judge Robert Bauer sentenced Anthony Farina, Nicholas Anzalone, Michael Mayshaw, and David Walters, 4 former Marcy Correctional Facility officers who were involved in the death of Robert Brooks. Body camera footage from December 9th last year shows officers beating and kicking the 43-year-old Brooks during a transport from Mohawk Correctional Facility. He died of his injuries the following day at Wynn Hospital. All 4 pleaded guilty, with Farina and Anzalone being sentenced to 22 years in prison for first-degree manslaughter, while Mayshaw was given 3 to 9 years and Walters a minimum of 2 to 3 years for second-degree manslaughter. Judge Bauer called out both the actions and inactions that resulted in Brooks's death, something that Special Prosecutor Onondaga County District Attorney William Fitzpatrick says needs to be discussed in the process to reform New York State prisons.
Has to be better training about de-escalating situations, about, there has to be a clear understanding of duty to intervene.
Brooks's son, Robert Brooks Jr., was in the courtroom today but did not speak. Instead, he submitted a victim impact statement that reads, "I pray this case teaches others that they can't treat incarcerated people like animals." All of the defendants, except for Mayshaw, have waived their right to appeal their sentences. From Oneida County Court, Louis Genovese, Eyewitness News.
Utica Mayor Michael Galimi's office announced a new plan to reconstruct affordable housing in East Utica today with the help of People First. Eyewitness News reporter Louis Genovese looked into Phase 1 of the project.
More than 350 housing units in East Utica are set to be demolished. This is part of a massive reconstruction project between the city and local housing organization People First. On Tuesday, City Mayor Mike Galimi announced the Asset Management Project, which looks to replace the N.D. Peters Manor with a 71-unit complex named Parkway Gardens. People First executive Robert Cowley said Galimi reached out to him about a shared services agreement with the Department of Public Works.
The inquiry was, hey, is there any way that the DPW's demolition crew could participate in either one of those endeavors? And we indicated that that was a great suggestion.
Cali has worked on Parkway Gardens for over 2 years, and in September 2025 secured $33 million in funding for Phase 1 of the project. He said Utica was one of the few chosen out of 150 applicants to receive funding from the state's Low-Income Housing Tax Credit 9% program.
We've proven that there is need within this community. We've proven that we are a prominent developer within the Mohawk Valley for purposes of housing.
Current tenants of the complex will be temporarily relocated and can move into Parkway Gardens upon completion. People First is also looking to secure funding for Phase 2 of the project to add even more units.
The goal at the end of the day is to create a new pocket neighborhood called Parkway Gardens, which will have 435 units. It will enhance quality of life, and it will fit seamlessly within the neighborhood in which it's located.
The demolition is scheduled to start between February and March. Cali says he hopes to have phase 1 of the housing project complete in January 2028. Reporting in East Utica, Louis Genovese, Eyewitness News.
Former Marcy correctional officer convicted of murdering inmate Robert Brooks in a beating caught on body-worn camera footage learned his fate earlier today. Eyewitness News reporter Louis Genovese was in the courtroom.
Plenty of voices were heard today in the courtroom during the sentencing of former Marcy Correctional Facility officer David Kingsley, including an apology from Kingsley himself and victim impact statements from the loved ones of Robert Brooks. David Kingsley stood in shackles as Oneida County Judge Robert Bowers sentenced him to 25 years to life in prison for second-degree murder and first-degree manslaughter. Kingsley is the first former Marcy correctional officer convicted in the death of inmate Robert Brooks, and he used his time at the podium to deliver an apology to Brooks's family, who sat in the courtroom.
All of the events that happened over the last 3 days of Mr. Brooks' life should never have happened.
Brooks's son Robert Jr. and brother Jared both took the podium to deliver victim impact statements after not being able to at previous sentencings due to delay.
And I pray that this court imposes a sentence severe enough to tell incarcerated people that their lives matter.
I wouldn't wish this trifecta on Mr. Kingsley or his co-defendants or anyone. I ask that Mr. Kingsley receive a sentence that fits his key role in my brother's brutal killing.
Special Prosecutor Onondaga County District Attorney William Fitzpatrick says he praises Robert Jr.'s words.
I think Judge Bauer was well aware of Robert's feelings, and I thought today, as he left, I whispered in his ear, I said, your dad is very proud of you.
Michael Fisher, another accused former Marcy correctional officer, made a pretrial appearance shortly after the sentencing. Fitzpatrick says he plans to present the body camera footage from December 9th, 2024 as evidence.
That's what I intend to present to a jury. Very, very simple. Body camera footage will show exactly what Mr. Fisher saw, and a jury will make a decision.
Fisher's trial is expected to take place next month on January 16th. In Utica, Louis Genovese, Eyewitness News.